Thanks so much, Myung-Soo. Pleasure to be here, everyone. My name's Simon Moore. I'm an innovation manager here at Plug and Play Silicon Valley. And I couldn't be more excited about this event and our activities in South Korea with our terrific partners and partners to come. So look, to start off with our fireside chat, we're going to be talking about social entrepreneurship. So whether the focus is on social, cultural, economic, or environmental outcomes, social enterprises have got two goals. One is to create impact and also to earn a revenue. And we are seeing social entrepreneurship grow rapidly around the world, not just from startups, but also corporates taking really active steps, primarily driven through socially aware younger generations, but also older generations looking for brands and professions and companies that deliver across the triple bottom line of people, planet, and profit. And we're proud to join in that as well with our Alliance to End Plastic Waste, End COVID-19 program, and renewed commitments to diversity and inclusion. But in recent years, South Korea has been recognized by Thomson Reuters Foundation as one of the best countries to be a social entrepreneur, boasting over 1,000 social enterprises and more than 10,000 people involved in the sector. And so today we're delighted to highlight three distinguished experts to discuss the future of social entrepreneurship around the world and what we can learn from the South Korean ecosystem. And so first, I'd like to introduce Dr. Ji-Hwan Lee, who's a professor of strategic and international management at the KAIST College of Business, which is one of the top 3 universities in South Korea, and has been ranked as one of the top 10 innovative universities by Thomson Reuters. Hello, Professor Lee, how are you? Thanks for joining us. And Professor Lee earned his PhD from the London Business School. He leads the KAIST Social Entrepreneurship MBA program, which we'll ask him about, that was founded in 2013 with SK Group, which is one of the largest telecommunication and energy groups in South Korea, designed to foster social entrepreneurs and help them identify and build sustainable social enterprises. So I'm really looking forward to hearing all about that, Professor Lee. Our next guest speaker is Mr. Kyung-Seon Chung, who is the founder and chairman of HGI, which is an impact investing and real estate development company in South Korea dedicated to addressing diverse social issues through sustainable innovations. Hi, Kyung-Seon, thanks for joining us.
Hi, nice to be here.
And Kyung-Seon has been involved in social enterprise initiatives for a long time. HGI has been working closely with the largest corporations and innovative impact organizations in Asia, focusing on innovation that elevates core values, diversity, inclusivity, and well-being. He's also the founder and chief imagination officer of Root Impact, which is a not-for-profit for building social impact ecosystems through co-working spaces, community houses, internship and social entrepreneurship education programs. It was actually really fun to read about your profile. So very, very cool. He's a frequent speaker on philanthropy and serves on the board of the Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors. So very, very cool. And then finally, and last but not least, Syed Hamidi, our CEO and founder of Plug and Play, with the largest open innovation ecosystem in the world and one of the most active venture funds in North America. And Syed's been involved as a serial entrepreneur for nearly 30 years. And in fact, about half an hour ago, I was learning that in his water business in Spain, embedded sustainability and circularity without knowing it. So it would be fun to talk about that. But as an investor, has a portfolio of over 1,000 startups with over 11 unicorns and many high-profile exits. He's a global thought leader and champion of open innovation with a real passion for inspiring and helping social entrepreneurs succeed. So thanks for joining us, Syed.
Thank you. It's great to be here. And, you know, I am looking forward to learning more about social investment, social impact investment.
Fantastic. So look, to start off the conversation, why don't I ask you, Professor Lee, could you maybe just give the audience a bit of a background on social entrepreneurship in South Korea, and we'd love to hear about the program that you run.
Oh, yes, of course. This is an independent MBA program within KAIST Business School, and we aim to educate and nurture current and future entrepreneurs who endeavors to solve social problems in Korea and social problems in other countries as well. But we do this through creating for-profit startups. And I would just, in terms of terminology, I prefer impact startups rather than social enterprise kind of things, because we empathize so-called for-profit startups rather than non-profit organizations. And this program was launched in 2013 through the collaboration of SK Group and KAIST. And the qualified students receive a full scholarship for the entire tuition for 2 years. And we also provide other expenses for their startups, early stage startups. And we also have a small venture capitals within KAIST, also supported by SK Group, which is called KAIST Ventures. And with this organization, we also provide funding opportunities to the early stage startups after graduation from this social entrepreneurship MBA program in KAIST. And this kind of unique program was possible because Chairman Choi of SK Group is one of the most prominent frontiers in considering the importance of social venture, social values in business management. And we have another frontier who is Mr. Kyung-sun Jung here, and Chairman Choi has been considering the importance of creating social ventures in any size of organizations, maybe since 2010 or something. So and that kind of willingness of the chairman of SK Group and the capabilities and technology held by KAIST was possibly created this unique program, Social Entrepreneurship MBA.
Well, that's fascinating. And, you know, you touched on that this program was started in partnership with the large group there. And Kyung-sung, maybe you could talk about, you know, we understand that the HGI is connected with the Hyundai organization, and maybe you could talk about where HGI came from and how it's viewed as connected with the greater organization as well. We'd love to hear about that.
Yes. So I started from the nonprofit organization, the Root Impact, and of course the first initial donation came from our family, which is the Hyundai family. And like in the beginning, I was doing more of a nonprofit approach in this whole thing. I was like, the whole mission is we wanted to support people doing something great for the society. And then we defined them as change makers. We were heavily influenced by the Ashoka, so we used the term change makers and social entrepreneurs. And we were focusing on creating the ecosystem for them. And then like those ecosystems were basically not that different from what the SK and KAIST, the Professor Lee did. We were all about creating the community of the like-minded people who wants to solve social problems through business models and all that. So that's why we created this the co-working spaces, Hayground. This is the first one is 6,000 square meter co-working space. So there's about 500 people working there. But in this neighborhood, we work with other companies as well. So now, in 2014, when we started here, there was about like 5 social enterprises located here. But now we have more than 250 social enterprises and organizations located within a 20-minute walking radius. So we are becoming sort of a hub for the social innovation. And so I've been doing that for 3-4 years. But then I see the importance of investing as well. So we created the ecosystem, but when there's a great social enterprise emerge, and then when they want to go to the next level, the patient and also like the investor who understands what they want to achieve was very important. So that's why I started HGI in 2015. HGI is Impact Investing Company, but also we are also investing into real estate because we want to create the ecosystem for them. So I think so far it's been a great journey, and now we are going to the next level, and we are calling it the Sustainable Future Alliance, because I think more and more large companies like SK or Hyundai, they all want to be more sustainable with their business, and they basically want to embed the impact within their main businesses, and they have to work with social enterprises and startups. So we are sort of building the bridge between them, and then we are also bringing other impact investors as well, which is, I believe, not that different from what you are doing in the startup sector.
Yeah, I was just thinking the overlaps and commonalities are really rich, and perhaps Saeed, I mean, you know, when you started out with Plug and Play, I think you've spoken about that you saw that young entrepreneurs, young startups, they don't just need the funding, but there's something about the network as well. Maybe you could talk about, you know, the power of having so many people in the same room and in the building at once.
Yes, you know, first, congratulations in building this 6,000 square meter co-working space, because, you know, after having a small building in Palo Alto on University Avenue, where by coincidence, PayPal and Google were tenant of ours, we learned a little bit about investing in technology startups, and quite lucky results. And, you know, after about 10 years of angel investing, we thought about if we have a bigger building, and the Plug and Play headquarters is around 16,000 meters, we said we would have more startups to look at and to possibly invest. And the word accelerator was a really hot subject in the last 10 years. And to sort of say, from these investments and the need of the entrepreneurs, then be little bit diversified in IoT and mobility, financial services, including insurtech. And we felt that anytime you build these innovation platform with corporate partners, with universities, with entrepreneurs, collaborating together, everybody wins. And nowadays, this is a new journey for me. You know, after doing this investments for more than 20 years, and specifically in Plug and Play in California, we help about 1,200 startups a year. In around the world, like Japan, we've been operating now for 3 years, and we have helped 400 startups in Tokyo, Kyoto, and this week we opened Osaka. But we try to make a positive impact in the entrepreneur's journey with seed capital, with connections, and with creating the environment that the entrepreneurs can learn from each other. And the year 2020, specifically for Plug and Play and for me, was a new initiative to do sustainability, environmental impact, and with this COVID-19, the social impact became more needed and evident. But again, it's a beginning of our journey, and I'm so glad with Professor Lee and you, Kun-san, we are not a non-profit, you know, philanthropy. We need the startups to have smart founders, have great ideas, business model, and do a good social and or environmental impact. We feel that is the only way that the business can scale and sustain itself. And every startup that creates jobs and technology and products that improves lives, I feel is partially social impact.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Said. And I'd love to, ask Professor Lee, with respect to the MBA program that's dedicated to, these social entrepreneurs, what are the particular skills? Like what are the specific things that you guys are teaching those students that enable them to be more impactful or more effective as social entrepreneurs? Are there any differences between folks who might be in the standard entrepreneurship programs? Like what's the key differentiator there?
Oh yes, of course. Actually, business organization must have a good missions or purposes. But in this program, we intentionally let our students start from identifying social problems. That's what we call social mission. And after identifying and articulating their social missions, our students try to develop their innovative business models, hopefully based on technology, because KAIST is a basically technology and engineering school. So we encourage our students to take advantage of those technologies within this institution. And then we also need to teach our students to develop their business skills and how to manage their organizations, how to hire people, and how to deal with legal issues, kind of things. And those kind of process might be quite similar to the programs for the general startups. But because of the differences in the early stages, focusing on the social missions, I think we have developed quite a differentiated trajectory for our students. And for that purpose, we also hired professors or faculty members who are very much interested and who have expertise in social issues rather than just business issues or economic considerations.
That's really interesting. And I mean, this program was, co-founded with SK Group, and maybe I can ask Kyung Sung to comment here. But what role do these large companies, these large corporations have with helping, social enterprises gain steam? Is it the partnership model? Like, are these large organizations sort of outsourcing to these small companies? Or maybe you could comment on what is the relationship and where do you think the value wedge is?
I think, I don't think I'll be able to say on behalf of the SK, but I think for SK, the Chairman Chase, the personal interest and mission was a big part of it. And I think for Hyundai, like the Hyundai Motor, they are doing a lot of social enterprise work. But in the future, for me, I think the best case scenario is that the large corporations, they are genuinely interested in the investing into this startups and nurturing this startups, so ultimately they can acquire them. I think that one of the few good cases recently was, so the Unilever, one of the largest the corporations, now they are acquiring the businesses like the Ben and Jerry's and the vegetarian butchers, the plant-based the meats. So they want to be more sustainable. They want to have more portfolio of sustainability. And the Hyundai Motor, they recently acquired, oops, I forgot the Arrival. I believe it was the company in UK. They're doing this EV electric vehicle. And also recently the Hanwha, one of the other conglomerate in Korea, they invested big into the Nikola, the Hydro truck company in the United States. This all means that now the social impact and sustainability is something nice to have. It's must have, considering all the climate change and everything happening. So that's why more and more this legacy companies, big corporations, they want to be more involved with the social impact and sustainability, so that that's why they're actively investing and then they are actively creating the platform for that. I think some of the more of forerunners like SK, they saw it way before, so that's why they already started with the building and university and all that. But now other peoples are catching up as well.
Interesting. Yeah. So it really isn't just about philanthropy. It just happens that the right thing from a business point of view is also the right thing to do from a social point of view, which is exciting. It's exciting overlap. And I mean, Professor Lee, in terms of the collaboration with, say, SK Group and other large organizations, how are they partnering with the program? What are you seeing as the most valuable models there for partnering with large corporations and these entrepreneurs?
Yes, actually today, you know, large corporations over the globe have enormous resources and capabilities. And the amount of these resources and capabilities are actually much larger than those in the government sector or in NGOs. So solving social problems may not be the first priority of those large corporations, because they have a number of other stakeholders. But the thing is that the enhancing sustainability or meeting ESG criteria are becoming new sources of business opportunities, even for these large corporations. So corporate resources and capabilities can be and must be utilized in that direction. And that such initiatives require more entrepreneurship within those large organizations, large corporations, and more active collaboration and partnership with innovative startups outside of those large corporations. So having said that, I think, I mean, the collaboration between these established companies and early stage startups may be a unique and enormous source of new economic growth as well.
Yeah, very interesting. And I think from an investment standpoint, Said, I'd love to, as we, time flies while you're having fun. We're nearly at the end of our time, but look, I mean, it's been quite interesting that, you know, just through the course of this conversation, just highlighting that, you know, these aren't charity organizations. These are bona fide businesses, and large corporations really are looking at these as growth opportunities for themselves. But Said, as an investor, you know, what do you look for when you have corporations coming to you, startups coming to you for investment, who may primarily have a social mission, but, you know, by all intents and purposes, they're looking to grow and scale?
You know, let me use an example that we invested in a company called Pay Active, and we introduced them to Walmart. And specifically, Pay Active provides liquidity for people who are in need, you know, the people who live paycheck to paycheck. And specifically, they are trying to challenge the pay loan lenders that charged incredible interest rates at the time of need. You know, so you could manage that Pay Active, or we have many companies that are in mobile banking and make the unbankable people have liquidity and be able to transfer money. So in my opinion, social impact and environmental impact has to provide a solution that people need and solve a problem that can be self-sustained and growth. And you asked the question from the professor. I think, again, the big corporations are not having the social responsibility manager or environmental responsibility manager for PR purposes or for marketing purposes. I think from the roots, people care about these impact investment, and their customers and their investors now require it. So I hope we will be able to create a better world together And specifically, as we are getting more involved in Korea, we would love to also participate with the panelists and learn from what you have done and contribute, what we have learned to the process.
Fantastic. Well, look, gentlemen, we've run out of time, so this was quick, but it was sweet. And look, a lot of really great themes. The value of building these ecosystems. Kyo-san, we'd love to learn more about what you've been doing there, the partnerships model, and what you're doing, Professor Lee, with building up the skills and capabilities for these entrepreneurs is really, really exciting. And also learning from Plug and Play's global activities and initiatives like the Alliance for Plastic Waste, Said, I think would be a great fodder for future conversations. So thank you all for joining us for today.
Thank you. Great being on the panel with you. Thank you.
And we hope to talk soon.